Hello. So this video is going to be on designing ambiences. I'll just show you the video. I'll show you what I've done, and I'll show you the whole breakdown of how I got there. So here it is. Got. So nothing too fancy, but I'll show you the original video first. This is it here. Not bad. There's a little bit of movement, there's a little bit of tonal stuff there. You know, it's a good start. It's a good foundation. So what I've done here, I'll just move this up to the side, is I pitched it down a little bit. Let me take the effects off first. So we pitched it down, so we got this. Then I added this layer here. So we've got the low, then we've got the high end. Let me add this limiter because it's quite quiet. So we've got the low end, then we've got the high end. Oh Jesus. Then I added this. Which is just something I made on a Behringer Neutron. I'll show you that just now. JD Neutron. Process. This one here. So that kind of stuff. So I decided to use this here. If this was in-game, this could be like a one-shot, and there could be a few of them triggering every minute or however long you want, really. And then I added this, which is just some granular stuff I made using Silo. See if I can find the source for that. JD. Something like this. Not that exciting on its own, but I added that just because it's a bit of a different texture. And then we've got this. I'll bypass the effects here. So what was that? JD granular base. So it'll just be a bit of that. I don't know what specific part, but you could just, honestly, you could probably just grab anything and just do that. Pitch it down, add some fades. You know, that'll probably work. And then we've got the same kind of thing here. Then I'll get into this bit a little bit later. Then we've got all like the droney sci-fi synthy stuff. But I think for scenes kind of like this one, I think you always need something that's real. So I've got this thing, which is just, I don't even know what it is, but I recorded it years ago on a little Roland R07 microphone or something like that. Cool. So I'll run you through the effects I've added. So on this stuff here, probably the most important thing is the C1 compressor. So the idea is you compress the layers together, and it kind of, you know, it kind of gels them together a little bit better. Let me show you what I mean. I'll go quite extreme with it. You know, you get that weird texture there. I just quite like it. I think it sounds quite good. I think it works for ambiences, and it makes all this stuff sound like one sound instead of multiple sounds layered up. So that's something worth trying. I'll Control Z that a few times. It doesn't need to be super extreme, but if you add like something bassy, like one of these impacts that I'll get into in a minute, if you add one of those, it'll kind of go a bit wild. Because I've got one of these on the master as well. So next up we've got Oxford Inflator. You know, I use this all the time on basically everything. So yeah. Not doing that much. And then ambience, it's a bit of a weird one. You wouldn't think you would do this, but distort them just makes them sound a little bit more gritty and a little bit more interesting. You can get away with quite a lot. Then a little bit of trans X. You could maybe do like something like that. That's quite interesting. I just use the presets for this because like I just know what works. I don't want to spend too long on this. So that's that. Then because it's so basic, we just do one of these. And then combine it with this. Then add the effects to this, which is just one of these. This is pitched down quite a lot, minus 21. I normally wouldn't do that, but because we've got the reverb on the master, which I'll enable in just a second, it sounds quite nice. Usually it sounds rubbish if you pitch stuff down that much. So let's enable everything. Just again, same kind of thing. Then this IRL for the reverb. I just quite like it. I've always used this. I think it works quite well. Even the default presets are just quite nice. Bump up the volume, compress it a little bit. So yeah, there you go. That's how I would do that. Then we've got a few extra things here. I don't even know what these are. What's this? Just another kind of one-shot thing. And some of this. I'm not thinking specifically in terms of like what's in the scene. I'm just trying to add some textures and some interesting sounds. So we've got this stuff as well. Which is just some granular glitches. Probably use Silo for that. So I'll just drag and drop some stuff I think would maybe work or that I would probably try. I don't know, maybe this. That's pretty cool. This. Cool, I'll probably use that. Let's see, something a bit more weird. Maybe none of these. Oh, that's horrible. No, none of this. Let's try this. Layer that up with this. Yeah, I don't know. It sounded okay. But the point is, try some kind of weird things that are quite unique. You know, it doesn't need to be, just because the scene looks like this, it doesn't need to be metal stuff and machinery and distant creaks and all that. I mean, it can be. That's all very well. And you should probably add a little bit of that. But you can also add weird, crazy granular shit if you want. You know, just experiment a little bit with it. So one other thing we can do is we'll mute all of this. We'll go here. I'm going to bounce this down. Pitch that down a little bit. So it's like a whole new ambience, which I think is quite cool. Now we'll do a bit of this. Maybe we'll add some. I think I've got some sub thing here we could use. So we could make it like an impact. Get that in. So that's pretty cool. So then what we'll do is we'll make this part of the group here, highlight this, bounce this down. So then you've got this as like a sound. Nice. Pitch that down. I don't know if this will sound good, that's pitched down quite a lot now. Probably a little bit too far, but you get the idea. You know, just because it's an ambience doesn't mean it just has to be used as an ambience. You can do loads of stuff with it. Wonder if we compressed this. Yeah, what do we want here? I don't know, L2, that'll do. That's interesting. Saturate it a little bit. Add one of these all pass phase things. If you got disperser, probably just use that instead. Oof, distorts a little bit. And what else could we add here? Wave Z noise, perhaps? I don't know, that's a little bit too much, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole video. I just wanted to cover this, give you some ideas. One other thing to keep in mind when you're doing these kind of things, if you do want to make it sound quite natural and you don't want to do this kind of style, one of the best things you could do is like focus on the close, medium and far perspective. So you'd be thinking like there's rail in here, maybe some really tiny creak details and things like that. Then you've got the mid details, which would maybe be the machinery on this wall or this stuff up here. Then you've got the far stuff, which could be maybe something's going on in the next room, like a creak or, you know, like a drone or something. Also keep in mind the tonal versus noise for your ambiences. They will generally be quite noisy. You're going to be stacking up layers and layers of noise. So the best thing to do is maybe just denoise it a little bit. So one last thing I will say is you could use Z noise, or you could use this Melda thing here, ratio MB, which is free to use. Go to noise tonal and something like that, I don't know. Is this even on the right group? I've got no idea. The goal isn't to take away 100% of the noise, it's just a little bit. If you take 10% off this and this and this, you know, these three here, then you've made quite a big difference. So it all adds up, especially when it's in game. And you've got multiple of these kind of drones playing at once, the noise will just stack up. So yeah, that's it. Cheers.